Hey, we're with Will and the People. We are backstage at the Lump of Coal show at Soma, and welcome Will and the People. A round of applause, everybody, for Will.
Thank you.
These guys just got off a plane from northern Italy. Is that correct?
This is true.
So,
Milan.
So how was Milan?
The food was lovely.
That was, see, good for you. That's the first question I would have asked was, how is the food in Milan?
Well, that's what they say, isn't it? Like, the food is the thing about Italy. It's just beautiful.
On the next level. it
And the
really
coffee.
is.
And the coffee.
Amazing coffee. And the woman.
All right, wait a second. One at a time. So are we voting for girls? Are we voting for coffee? Are we voting for food, the best thing about Italy?
La dolce vita. The whole thing. The sweet life, baby.
So this is pretty crazy because you guys just came off, 10 days touring in Italy?
Yeah,
We
10
had
shows in 10 days.
shows, yeah.
Intensities in 10 cities.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? That's pretty good. I mean, was it sort of a whirlwind? Did you get a chance to really enjoy the coffee while you were there?
Never look at the time, you know. This is the key.
We were just saying, like, you don't want to see what our eyes actually look like. That's you got these bad boys for a reason. You know what I mean?
If you look into it, you'll be changed. You'll
Yeah.
never be the same. No, that's got to be crazy to go to a country that I assume you guys hadn't been to before. Was that your first time in Italy?
No, we've been there lots. Like, we love Italy. Like, to be honest, in Europe, you know, it's just you pop from one to the other. It's quite easy. Or we drove to Italy the first time. You know, it took us like 14 hours or whatever. It was quicker to drive there.
Going to
than fly here.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, see, that's the
That
weird.
far.
That's going to be crazy about being from the British Isles, then coming to the United States or North America. It's how mad these distances are between all the cities and everything.
It's crazy, man. It's so much bigger here, isn't it? And
Yeah.
We're just getting started. We're little babies.
Oh, it'll catch up.
Yeah.
You'll need those sunglasses.
Yeah, man.
Tell everybody about your flight because I want to talk about the music, of course, but tell everyone about your flight. This is what it's like to be on the road as a touring rock band because you guys left Milan and then you went to.
So we did the last show after 10 shows in Milan. We stayed up after the shows to drive to the airport, 7 a.m., got on the flight. What was it, 9 hours, then stopped for 4 hours in JFK, and then 6 hours here to San Diego. And got here at 9 p.m.
American Airlines as well.
Went to Denny's.
Great meal at
Went
Denny's.
straight to Denny's.
Delicious.
That's a good way to come to the U.S.
No,
and
man.
get food. Sorry, we love you, Denny's, but I mean, really, there's some other cuisine you guys could do. I understand they're 24 hours a
Yeah,
day.
it's
so-
easy. It's easy peasy.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
We woke up after what, 4 hours sleep, and came here.
Did the new island.
So tell me about the Italian audiences. And I realize that the women and the coffee and the food, but you know, you guys have been on the road for a while now. I mean, you've been together for about 5 years. How do the audiences vary from country to country and place to place?
Mate, it's just kind of, we're really lucky because we go to places like Italy and we play and, you know, places we've never been, 300, 400 people turn up. And that's just kind of like, that's just started happening for us really over the last year or so. But we've been grinding at the bit for quite a while to make that happen, innit? So, you know.
Now, you met at a Glastonbury show several years ago? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, man.
Well, you weren't playing, you were just in the crowd, right? Or were you actually like backstage somehow? Was there some connection?
Will had a show booked,
Mhm.
and we all kind of met. He didn't have a band at the time.
Oh,
And then we
yeah.
kind of- yeah.
That's it. There was a little bit
Went from
before
there,
as well where I was like Will and the People, but it was a bit awkward because I didn't have any people with me. It was just me with a guitar, you know. And then these guys came
Lots
and
of
saved me.
overdubbing. And,
Yeah. And Jamie's my brother, and he left school, and I just got him in.
I couldn't join the band. My mum was like, "You got to finish school, do your exams, and then you can join the band."
You did well as well, didn't you, mate? At
All
school.
right, yeah, did
Smashed
pretty
it.
great, man.
3 A's, was it? Nah,
Something
that
like
was
that.
it.
That was me.
Jimmy's actually the clever one. If you have any like really difficult questions, please can you ask him.
We already shot past the difficult questions, so it's easy skeezy now.
All downhill from here.
Now, tell me what Jerry Lee Lewis means to you.
Oh, mate, look at this.
We love Jerry Lee Lewis, man.
Oh, check this out. Get a close-up of this. Memphis, Tennessee is feeling pretty proud right about now. Having the, have you been there? Have you been to the?
I haven't, right?
the
But we
Sun Studios?
our old tour manager and the guy who's like a really good friend of mine. He literally, we became very obsessed with Lilu for a long time. Joe Lee Lewis, got really obsessed with him, and like just. So he followed him in a camper van for I think it was like 30 dates all the way around Europe, and you know, and then he came and he was our tour manager, and so we've had a lot of Joe Lee Lewis and the Doors as well. Like those two bands, we're heavily kind of into.
Well, I just want to know how you guys came in contact with Jerry Lee Lewis, because you're young guys, and Jerry Lee Lewis has been around. He's got a few rings around the tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see Jerry Lee Lewis, and I mean, all the old videos of him playing, he's like a modern rock star now. I mean, he's just like
Still rocking,
the
mate.
piano, just
That
kicking
was
off.
badass,
And like,
rock
you can
and
imagine
roller.
what it was like back then. Like, even now, it's like, he's killing it. That's
Right.
badass. Like, so for me, watching him, is like, playing the piano. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a guitar. Doesn't need.
He was a game changer, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
Game changer.
Well, he was one of those Sun Records guys. So Will has this Sun Records logo on his forearm, and after Elvis died in 1977, the story came out that apparently a couple of months before Elvis died, Jerry Lee was on a bender one night, and he
Right.
came to the gate at Graceland and was banging on the gate and demanding he should be let in and saying, "I'm the king of rock and roll," and so on. And the guy's always just been this complete loose cannon.
Yeah.
And if you try and tour with Jerry, I mean, he shot his bass player one time.
Oh, I didn't actually know that.
He shot his bass. It was an accident. Be safe with your guns, ladies and gentlemen. Jerry Lee actually shot his bass player. That's just, Elvis shot the TV, but Jerry Lee actually made a connection with,
That's
flesh and bone.
mental. That is mental.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, the
Tunes, man.
and then the songs, right? Exactly. I mean, Great Balls of Fire is like basic rock and roll, but can you imagine when that came out? It would be like getting out of jail.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely not.
And then it's cool that you guys mentioned the Doors, because Jim Morrison, his birthday was just a couple of days ago, and his father, until very recently, was living in Coronado, and he died about a year and a half ago. And Jim Morrison actually went to school here in San Diego. I don't think it was Claremont High School, but yeah, it's just so weird, like what's in the water in some parts of the United
Yeah,
States. You know?
California music seems to make it to where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, how did you come in contact with a lot of that music growing up?
My dad played me the Doors, I guess.
With the Doors, or do you mean, because like there's other bands, there's Sublime with the band that I heard, and I was like, genuinely, they made me want to start a band when I heard Bradley Knowles' voice. I just was like, who's this dude? I kind of like looked into their music, and it was this reggae influenced kind of California ska thing. That really like was a more up to date thing of like a band that really influenced. But for me personally, it was a bit later. I mean, Bob Marley I grew up with, but the Doors, you probably knew about them before me. Hey,
My dad gave me the best of the Doors, and that was it. Yeah.
Right.
It was cool.
Do you think there's something about music that was recorded at that time, whether it was Jerry Lee or the Doors or Bob Marley? Do you feel there's an authenticity and something that's more organic about some music than what you hear today?
I guess.
It is, man. I think like there's lots of cliches about how modern music is always a lot worse than the older music, and I think you can find certain aspects of certain songs which regardless of their time will just always be beautiful. But I think on average the general amount of good music back in that day just did seem to be higher. There just did seem to be a general better quality.
well, the grass is always greener though, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of good music still. I
It's
think.
just-
I think the way it was recorded, maybe all the live
Records
the
sound
live
really good,
records
hey?
of just a band in a room go for it, and that's good enough to make people turn on the radio and just dance. That's maybe got lost a little bit nowadays. So I think maybe you're right in that sense.
But people like old stuff too, People like stuff that's old, like vintage and old and grainy and just in anything, I guess.
It's hard to do something new though, people do things like, there's so much has been done, now it's like, how the fuck do you do something new?
Well, in part of a way, you go back to the building blocks and you start putting the blocks back together your way. Like when the Doors, they'd go back and they'd listen to Jerry Lee and they'd say, we can actually make some good songs out of these ingredients, and you start building up, from those basic blocks. But as a band, do you guys find that you record better after you've rehearsed, or after you've been on the road for a long time?
On the road, man.
When we've been on the road, we become so tight as a band, and playing every night, we get really tight and our parts become really defined, So,
You can kind of be more free as well, can't you? Like and jam more, like when you're more. If you play every night, like every day, then it's good. Like we live together as well, So when we're at home,
we're always together.
we've got our living room is a studio kind of thing. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's great. So you can sort of get together and record anytime you like.
Yeah.
That's one of the nice democratic things about making records these days. You don't have to go and book studio time. You can just do all that stuff at home. You know? And who cares? You're not burning through tape. You're just burning through ones and zeros. So if it doesn't work, just hit undo, right?
Yeah, man.
As long as we pay the electricity bills, we're all right.
So this is going to be your first show in the United States since coming back from Italy. So this is, I wouldn't say this is the jet lag show, but you know, I mean, you guys seem pretty alert. You've had some Italian coffee, so can we get you guys any American coffee or anything
No,
like
I'll
that?
tell you what,
Yeah, man,
American
that's really
coffee is
good.
damn good, man.
Yeah.
Like, mine and Will's mum, that's her business. She runs a tea and coffee company back
Oh, yeah?
at home in England. And she says that actually she agrees with the statement that American coffee is very, very good. She's a bit of a, you know, she's picky with her coffee, and stuff from America is good.
Good for her.
For my mum, so.
I prefer beer though.
I was going to ask this key San Diego question, of course. You are fans of beer, which is wonderful. We have an enormous variety of beer just in our county here in San Diego. We have, I think, the highest percentage of craft beer breweries in any county in the United States.
Wow.
Which is sort of funny since we have no water here either. But we make it work. Reverse osmosis, folks. That's how you do it. But
What's the best one? We'll try it.
I'm going to get in trouble if I try and answer that question. I can tell you this. If you go into any self-respecting, like a liquor store here, it's kind of like a corner shop.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a place where they have everything that you need, whether it's stationary or beer.
I love the way it's called liquor as well. Liquor, it's go straight to
good
booze.
word.
It's like us having booze written on the plate.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't see this
Seriously, if you have like a gun shop next door, you and like
gun shop.
an adult bookstore, you have the American trifecta right there. So you've got everything going on in the same
Yeah.
place. But I would say if you go to any self-respecting liquor store or any craft beer joint and you pick what's on the shelf, if it's got San Diego on it, you're not going to go wrong.
What's your favorite beer?
Okay, I will take the diplomatic route out, and I will say that I love all the San Diego beers, but when it comes to India Pale Ale, which was a British creation, there's a brewery actually up in the central coast of California in Paso Robles, California, called Firestone Walker, and they have an IPA that I think is fantastic, and I'm told it's modeled as close as possible to what the British sailors would get on their passage to wherever they were going back in the day. So I got to say I really do like.
We'll
that
have to
beer.
try some of that here.
Thanks to the little nod to the Brits.
Oh, of
Cheers,
course.
mate.
I mean, I'm half Scottish, so which isn't,
It's quite a lot as well. Half.
it's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, my family's Glaswegian, so
Right.
Are you guys football fans?
Yes.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
All right,
Not
well,
Jamie.
but by England, he is right. But in England, yeah, people they kill for football. Like we're not quite on that level. Like we don't go watch every week like the game and stuff.
okay. Well, I,
Well, Glasgow, yeah?
well, I asked because my grandfather played on
Rangers.
Partick
Rangers,
Thistle
of course.
from Glasgow back in the day. I guess when they were good. They kind of suck now, I guess, but back in the day they were good. So.
Yeah, man.
They have the rivalry with Celtic, right?
It's it's a nightmare in that city. In the football sense of the word.
Oh, yeah, they like
You're wearing the
football
wrong
teams
shirt
in
on the
that
wrong
town, yeah.
street on the wrong day.
Last time I was in Glasgow, I was going to get some fish and chips, okay, and I was with my friend, and we were walking along, and there were two kids, and they were about 13, 12, and I swear to God, they chased us. They chased us away. And I ran as well. They were scary, mate. And
Glaswegian toughs, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Tough up there.
You don't understand a word they're saying.
Basically the
either.
Arctic Circle, they're tough.
Well, they're already work building ships on the river there, so that's heavy stuff. All right, well, look, Will and the people, I'm so glad that you guys are here. I'm glad that you're in one piece. I'm glad you're fired up with some American coffee, and just really great chatting with you guys, and looking forward to the show tonight.
Thanks, Tommy.
To be here.
Nice
Nice to meet you.
mate.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good seeing you. Will and the people, everybody.
Peace out.
91